Good morning. My name is Victoria, and I work at a factory. Today I woke up this early because I have to drive 44 kilometers to work and be there by 6:30. At that time, public transportation isn't running yet, and even if it were, the trip would take about 2.5 hours. Sometimes I think I don't like waking up this early, but then I step outside, hear the birds, see the sunrise, and all the green trees around me, and I realize it's really not that bad. Actually, it's pretty great. I used to think repetitive work would be exhausting, but it turned out to be the opposite. For me, the most exhausting part has always been having nothing to do. I always thought sewing was something incredibly difficult. Then I learned one step, then another, then another. And one day I realized I barely even think about what my hands are doing anymore. I guess every difficult skill eventually becomes a habit. You just have to give yourself enough time. Maybe that's why big goals don't scare me as much anymore, because they're never achieved all at once. They are built from hundreds of small repetitive actions, day after day. I used to spend a lot of time thinking about what might happen. I'd come up with different scenarios and imagine how everything could unfold. And honestly, I can't remember a single time when things happened exactly the way I'd imagined. I knew I was wasting so much time and energy thinking through all these possibilities, but I kept doing it anyway. When I was studying at university, I finally broke that habit. My academic supervisor played a big part in it. I had spent a year and a half working on a research project. Eventually, I submitted it to her. A few days later, she invited me to meet with her. Naturally, I imagined every possible outcome. She was going to tell me my work was terrible and that she didn't want to supervise me anymore. Or that I'd have to rewrite everything and there wouldn't be enough time. Or, well, something else equally bad. When I got to the meeting, it turned out she wanted to discuss something completely different. When I asked if she'd read my paper, she said she hadn't had time yet. That was it. Wait, that wasn't one of my scenarios. I'd spent so much time preparing for a conversation that never even happened. Since then, I try to take the first step before worrying about everything else. If something goes wrong, then I'll figure out what to do next. But most of the time, things work out just fine. I still catch myself imagining different scenarios sometimes. But now, it's much easier to remind myself that life almost always comes up with one of its own. I'm just going to lie down for an hour. Well, not again. In my previous video I said that I don't really like my daily routine. I found myself thinking about it again last week. When I worked in an office, I'd feel sleepy all morning. By the afternoon, I'd already be exhausted. And by the time I got home, with only a couple of hours of personal time left, I barely had enough energy for anything beyond the simplest chores. These days I'm still a little sleepy in the morning, but the second half of the day, it actually belongs to me. And it feels so much longer than it used to. More importantly, I finally have enough energy to spend the time doing whatever I feel like doing. Because by then, I actually feel rested. Another thing that used to bother me was that my weekends never really felt like mine. I'd clean the apartment, do laundry, cook meals for the first few work days. In other words, I wasn't resting. I was just doing a different kind of work.
Начинаю уборку.
Today I want to read something. I haven't read a book in about a year. Looks like I'm not reading today either. I should have charged my e-reader earlier. I waited for a while. I thought it would turn on almost as quickly as my phone, but I honestly tried. I guess I'll do a little work instead. It's getting late. I should take a shower now. Because if I don't do it tonight, at 4:30 tomorrow morning, I'll somehow find 1,000 reasons why I'm already clean enough. Good night.